It's your boy Rocky.
Boy Mello.
And welcome to Candy Swag Book Reviews and More.
Today we have 3 special guests.
Miss Britney Brackett, award-winning author, accomplished actress, community activist, voiceover expert, entrepreneur, and executive director of Outstanding Youth Awards Initiative.
Mr. Brooks Brackett,
illustrator of best-selling book, accomplished graphic designer, entrepreneur, and community activist. And Charlie Davis,
2023 Best Overall Youth Award winner, community activist, 4.0 GPA, entrepreneur, business owner, and author.
Wow.
That's great.
Take a look. So, everybody, how does it feel to be on Candy Swag Book Reviews and More?
Great.
So,
Bruce, you can go ahead.
Let's do this.
So, we're going to dive into OYA, Outstanding Youth Awards questions.
Miss Britney, what inspired you to get involved around youth like us?
Well, I have always had a love for helping the community. And a way that I really like giving back is through helping remind kids that they're able to get through the tough times by trying to be kind, trying to pay attention to the things that they do in the community with their civic activities, right? Giving back to the community in some way. So because I did that as a kid, I wanted to make sure that I was able to pass that along to kids like you so the world could keep going round and around.
Wow.
That's great, because like youth like us, it's just, just helping us.
It's great to have somebody like you guys to keep pushing us forward and having things like these, like the OYA awards, books, and yeah.
So what's the day like?
We gotta pour into the leaders of tomorrow, you know.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. What's a day like with Miss Britney? And do you have any normal days? Are you always as busy as I think you are?
Those are such good questions. What's a normal day like with me? Well, today has been an interesting day, but it's a lot of administrative work, writing grants. Every now and then I might have an audition or something to do, or 2 or 3. I just did a voiceover audition. Later on today, I'm going to do another voiceover session for a client. So my days are always different.
Yeah.
And then every now and then I'm brainstorming about a book with my cool brother right here. So, there's a little bit of self-care that needs to happen soon. I can tell you that.
I've always wanted to ask you that question too, as well.
Really? Well, some days are more exciting than others. I'll tell you that.
So, what was that day like when you envisioned Outstanding Youth Awards? You just don't daydream like anything like that big,
Well, it sort of was like a daydream, because a lot of times, and this is not just me, but with anybody, sometimes the dreams that you have are bigger than the resources. So that's when prayer comes in, and making sure that, it's a God thing and not something that you're just cooking up here trying to serve to everybody. You want it to be an actual plan that you really put together meticulously, right? So I was brainstorming, and I think I still have the notebook where I wrote down all the categories: entertainer, entrepreneur, scholar, volunteer, athlete, and then, the overall winner. There were 7. Think about it, 7 categories. 7 is the number of completion.
Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to.
So it's like 7 categories on purpose to recognize kids that are amazing, like y'all, and like Charlie. And, these are the kind of kids that we are trying to remind to be doing the work, right? It's not just enough to try to to keep it all together. But as long as you have a good support system, you can really accomplish anything you put your mind to.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Brittany, what is next for Outstanding Youth Awards?
Such a good question. Y'all are such pros at this, man. So what's next for the Outstanding Youth Awards? Well, we are currently in post-production for a short film that we produced that tackles opioid use with teenagers and teen suicide and all the things that kind of come with that families are dealing with. So we're going to be submitting that to film festival, and we have our youth wellness retreat coming up in May.
Wow.
So we're opening that up to the community where kids can come and you guys were there last year, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Were you guys able to make it?
We were there last year.
Great. So I was going to say, I feel like you were there, or Miss Brittany is just crazy. But, meditation, we're going to touch on stretching, making sure that kids have the access to making sure they feel good on the inside with free counseling. And also to be able to, feel good literally from the inside out. That's what this retreat is all about.
And that's important because kids nowadays, they really need that, especially with everything that's going on in school, kids that may be dealing with things at home, drugs, girlfriend, boyfriend thing. And there's a whole bunch of things that kids really need, especially in this day and age. And that's great that you guys are bringing that to us youth, and especially in today's age.
Thank you.
Well, remember, we've been your age, right?
Yes, ma'am.
My brother and I have been your age. So everything that you guys are dealing with, or most of it, we've felt before. It may not be exactly the same, but, a lot of those emotions are the same, and you can't be the best you if you're not mentally, spiritually, and physically healthy. And that's what, the Outstanding Youth Awards really started to do, is to make sure kids feel empowered and make sure if they're not outstanding that they're working towards becoming that.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's great, Miss Brittany, and we thank you for that.
Thank you. So, Mr. Brooks, we have your questions, so get right into it.
All right.
Mr. Brooks, what was that conversation like with you and Miss Britney for your role in Outstanding Youth Awards?
For my role in Outstanding Youth Awards. Well, I know for quite a long time my sister has really kind of helped propel me into more community outreach and stuff like that. She's wanted me to kind of build up my resume, help me just kind of be a little more outstanding myself. So I want to say around the inception of the Outstanding Youth Awards, we were just in the meeting and she was like, "Hey, I think you could be a good president for this company." And I'm just like, can I? Do I have what it takes? But, her telling me that, I was like, okay, clearly she believes in me. Let me step into this role. And that's kind of how it just developed. And ever since I've been, doing ideas with Brittany back and forth, and we've just kind of been chiseling away at building this organization into something bigger and better.
Well, you guys are doing just great, and we appreciate you guys.
Y'all are doing a great job as well.
Yeah.
She has her way of empowering us.
Aww.
I love it.
So, Mr.
Don't make me cry. I did all my makeup. Don't make me cry.
Are you as passionate as Miss Brittany is about the youth?
As passionate? Brittany's quite passionate. I would love to say yes to that, but it's hard to match her energy on a lot of things. But I'll say that I'm passionate in other ways, for sure. Because, like Brittany mentioned, I've been a youth as well. I'm very
Yeah.
passionate, especially about the youth's creativity and imaginations, and I know how important that is and how far it can actually take you.
Yes.
So that's something that I really like to cultivate in younger people, and just like if they have an ounce of creativity and they want to pursue it, I tell them, look, go for it, stick with it, and it'll develop into something. Because the more you do when you're younger, and the more that you really like work on it, it'll develop into something beautiful by the time you're our age.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
That's so true.
Oh, you can go.
What other ways are you passionate about? Like, what other ways?
Um, I would say definitely mental wellness and physical wellness. Uh,
Yeah.
Growing up, I had my share of physical activities that I did, whether it was church league basketball. I did a lot of skateboarding as a
Yeah.
kid, a lot of walking. I mean,
Yeah.
I still skateboard to this day and work out and everything. And I think it's something that we really should focus on when we're younger because it'll help you. I mean, you'll be nice and limber by the time you're older, and
Yeah.
the younger you start, the better. So
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Mr. Brooks, what are your creative goals for 2024?
my creative goals, like my personal creative goals.
Yes, sir.
Oh man,
That's a great
yeah,
question.
yeah.
My goodness gracious.
Well, the one thing that's been on my mind lately is I've been trying to do more 3D work, which is
Yeah.
there's a bigger demand in it in the industry that I'm in.
Yeah.
Um, and another thing I've been trying to do is, although people have always told me I have a style, Brittany has told me that I have a particular style. I really want to do more in honing in on that and just kind of
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
focusing on a particular brand building art style that really just kind of
Yeah.
speaks to me and what I enjoy. Um, but in terms of goals with deliverables, I'm just kind of enjoying it while whatever comes out of it. It's kind of hard to
Yeah.
set goals as an artist because sometimes uh, you might find yourself achieving something without even really planning it, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
I feel like I just went up a level and I didn't plan for it.
Yes, sir. Can't wait to see it. We
I
cannot wait
appreciate
to
it. I
see
appreciate it.
it. Yes, sir. So, Charlie, we're gonna dive into your questions. Charlie, welcome to Candy Swag Book Reviews and more. Congratulations, Charlie, on your overall Outstanding Youth Awards.
Thank you.
How do you feel about winning? How do you feel about winning such a great award?
I feel very accomplished because I know that I am proud of myself and that other people believe in me. So,
Yeah. No, that's great.
That's
And
great.
just like Miss Brittany did for us, we feel very accomplished, and it's a way of to recognize things that we do. So thank you, Mr. Brooks and Miss Brittany again.
Thank you.
they
Share
both
with us some of your, share with us some of the qualities that helped you win overall outstanding youth.
Well, I own my own smoothie business, Charlie's Rainbow Smoothies and More LLC, and
Mhm.
I'm on the AB honor roll.
Oh wow.
And I
That's great.
love to do volunteer work, give fresh fruits and vegetables to um a lot of society and people
You
who
have your
need.
business. You're an author. Yeah. All the things.
I also love to give out smoothies on hot days, sometimes apple cider and half gloves for people who can't afford it.
Alright. That's great. Wow. Should be proud. Okay. What
He's like, dang, you doing a lot, George.
what are your goals for 2024?
To be on the A honor roll, definitely.
Oh wow.
To
Great.
increase my population on my smoothie business, maybe even get a truck, and
Oh wow.
That's great.
let's try to donate a little bit more.
Wow, that's great. Rocky?
Very impressive, Charlie.
Thank you.
Well,
Can we see your award? Your award?
My award for the outstanding youth.
Yeah, girl, show off that hardware.
she's like, which one?
I have so many trophies. Which trophy do you want? One thing, as she's going to get her award, I was going to say, Charlie is not just a sweet little businesswoman. She is incredibly kind and thoughtful and generous, which is another reason why she's so outstanding. Like, her accomplishments are just a piece of the young lady that she really is. So her parents are incredible. They're pouring into her in a way that helps her to be able to shine so bright. And I do believe we're potentially looking at a future president. I do think she would make a great Secretary of State, President, Vice President, all of the above.
While I get the other one, this is the recent award I won.
Oh wow.
Nice.
She's like, well, I get the other one.
It is
Fancy.
the Community Service Award, empowering our families,
Yeah.
which is also why I really like volunteer. It's one of my favorite things to do.
Wow.
That's great.
Well, now we're going to dive into the
So
book.
grateful that y'all gave me this award.
Well, we're excited to have you on. Well, now we're going to get into the book, My Safe Space. My Safe Place.
Look, please, space, all of that. Everything is safe up in this place, okay?
Miss Brittany, Mr. Brooks. So, Miss Brittany, tell us about the process of writing My Safe Space, My Safe Place.
So, the long and short of it is that I was on vacation and I had about 2 or 3 days where my mind could calm down.
Yeah.
And I had a chance to put this book into words. Like, it literally was zapped into me. And that's how I know that God gave it to me, because it was literally, I couldn't write fast enough. I couldn't put the paper to the pen, vice versa, fast enough to get it all out.
Yeah.
And after the book was written, I just kind of pulled back and looked at it and said, whoa, this is something special. And then I knew my brother had to put his touch on it to give it all the personality. And I have to let him be creatively who he is.
Yeah.
Because without him, I can't tell the story. Without me, he couldn't really be able to bring his photos to life.
Yeah.
So the two of us make such a good pair because I always bet on him to just do his thing.
Yeah.
I literally just give him the words and he creates the most beautiful artwork, the most beautiful cover. We've actually won an award for the cover.
Wow.
We've won 8 awards so far,
Jeez.
which is such a blessing. Our last award just came in last week with the Independent Press for 2024.
Wow.
So we've really been grateful to sell books all over the world. I mean, most recently Germany and the UK.
Wow.
And I told Brooks that the book was going to go global. And he was like, "How do you know?" I'm like, "Dude, just trust me. Trust me."
Well, we
And
read
he
this
did.
book.
And we're just grateful.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, we read this book and we absolutely love it.
Yes, ma'am. We did the pointing thing. We closed our eyes. We picked our word. And my word was, I think, love, and your word
was right.
Yes,
My
right.
word was right. On the
Aww.
what's it called?
That's the touch and tell
Yeah, the touch
therapy.
and tell.
Yes, ma'am.
And with it being a mindfulness activity book for kids, we get a chance to go into the schools
Yeah.
to talk to kids that are in school like you, middle school, high school, elementary school. And we do sensory workshops. We actually have a workshop coming up next week at Lawrence Elementary. And, we're going to be reading to more than 500 kids.
Yeah.
So
you guys
great
got a lot
stuff.
of things going on.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh boy, you have no idea.
Well, did you think
It's a little crazy.
did you think that my safe place would be this successful?
Anything that God puts his hands on is going to be successful, because when you have a calling on your life and you know what you're put here to do, even if you don't understand it,
Yeah.
you know that you have to be obedient to it. And that's one thing that I'm grateful with Brooks for partnering with me and for trusting me. But I'm also, let me toot this horn. Toot, toot. I'm also grateful to myself for listening and being in tune with God to know how important the book was,
Yes, ma'am.
and for being obedient and even not having the resources, but finding them so that we could produce this book. And thank you to Senator Carl Allen for awarding us a grant to be able to publish this book in 2022. So we're just beyond the moon about it.
Sound just like our grandma. Our grandma says, yes, ma'am.
Look, she's amazing too, your grandma.
So what are
Shout out to Rebecca.
So, Miss Brittany, what or who is the inspiration for my safe place?
Well, and Brooks can probably speak to this too. Mental health has become so much more prevalent since the pandemic,
Yeah.
because all of us were suffering. And I truly was dealing with my own issues.
Yeah.
And, as an actor, I couldn't work.
Mm-hmm.
When the writer's strike happened, I didn't work as much,
Yeah.
right? And when you can't work and you can't make money like you're used to,
Yeah.
that messes with your mental. And then it messes with your physical health too,
Yeah.
sometimes. So there were a lot of things that played into the book being produced and why it was so necessary. And I said to myself, if I feel this way as an adult, I can only imagine how kids feel,
Yeah.
having not being able to see their friends and not being able to interact
Yeah.
with the normal people, their teachers, their friends. I mean, Brooks, how did it make you feel?
It was isolating. It was really strange. Um, there were some weird moments though where I had creative spikes where I was like, huh,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not used to having this much
Yeah.
free time, so I would just use it to start
Mm-hmm.
painting or doing something. But there
Yeah.
were also those moments where it's just kind of like, looks like it's
Yeah. It was a roller coaster.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was a lot of emotion. And I think that's what birthed the book, because we were all trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And this book is really for everybody. Brooks and I, maybe one day we'll make a longer version, or a teen and adult version of the book,
Yeah.
because we also need to be able to have an outlet just like we're giving kids.
Yeah.
I also like how the book is like rhymey. It's like a little poem for kids.
Yeah,
or
like
something.
a poem for kids.
Yes, ma'am.
Aw, thank you. I had a young man say that to me yesterday in Fountain Inn Elementary. He was like, "The words rhyme." I was like, I tried to do it like that, just a little bit.
So, what inspires you, Miss Brittany?
Ooh, I think that's a loaded question, Rocky. I am inspired by the change that I want to see in the world, really. You know, Gandhi might have said, be the change you want to see in the world. But the truth is, it takes all of us to make that happen. And each individual person has a skill or a tool or something they can put to use to inspire somebody else. And I feel like if I have to work super hard to try to make sure that you three, Rocky, Romello, and Charlie, can have a future where we as adults can pour into you and for you to be reminded how important and special and unique you are, then my job here is done.
Wow. Thank you, Miss Brittany.
You're welcome. You're always so cute. Thank you, Miss Brittany. Thank you, guys.
Well, Mr. Brooks. So,
Yes.
what inspired you to be a graphic designer?
Uh,
Mm.
well, I grew up as an artist. I was first discovered drawing on my grandmother's walls, and I guess the drawings were pretty decent because some of them still exist to this day. And I think I really got to give credit to my family and friends who saw it early on that like, oh, you're actually you're actually pretty good at this. You might need to take it seriously. And then when I was in high school, I want to say junior, sophomore year, I was trying to figure out how to turn it into a career. I
Yeah.
I knew I didn't really want to be a fine artist, but I wanted to have some kind of career connected to art.
Yeah.
And I ended up learning about graphic design and how it's pretty much the same thing as art, but a lot of it communicates a specific idea. Whereas traditional art it doesn't have to communicate anything. It can be up to interpretation. But
Yeah.
design is different because it wants to communicate at least a specific idea or message. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't mind doing that. And of course, being good at drawing helped that even more. Helped me, jump into it even easier.
Yeah. So your focus more on illustrating, right? Am I correct? Or graphic design?
Yeah, so it's kind of a hybrid where if I can
Yeah.
use my illustration in my design, that's
Yeah.
how I prefer to
Oh,
do it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Drawing's one of my favorite things to do. So I really,
That's
I
awesome.
really like drawing.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
Who would have thunk it? They got all these hidden talents we ain't even know about.
What are some of your favorite things to draw?
Well, I draw shoes and I drew a Michael Jordan from my uncle's birthday card. Because we make the cards, it seems more special when we make them. So
Aww.
I drew
Yeah.
I drew Michael Jordan and Kobe and LeBron.
That's cool. That's really cool.
He's like, yeah, I just drew simple things like Kobe, LeBron, like all the most incredible athletes in the whole world. Just nothing major.
Yeah.
I might draw like a snail or like a pencil. This dude is
Charlie,
drawing
what did you say?
LeBron, and
It takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So, Mr. Brooks, what was the most challenging thing about illustrating My Safe Place? And what was the most rewarding thing?
Most challenging thing.
Wow, those are stellar questions.
Yeah.
What? Wow.
Well, I actually just realized that I'm gonna have to connect my laptop to the power soon, but I'll try to get this answer out as quick as I can. Um,
Yeah.
the inspiration behind My Safe Place was just kind of honing in on the imagination, the vivid, vibrant imagination that kids harness. And as you'll see, it's kind of different than typical kids books, where kids books are way brighter. They might have pastels and
Yeah.
everything. And I was like, I wonder if there's a way to still have a really colorful book with less
Yeah.
color. Because,
Yeah.
when you imagine something and you close your eyes, it's usually dark, but you can imagine things while your eyes are closed.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, let me see if I can do that correctly. And I started drawing it. I started drawing the characters on regular paper. Matter of fact, this is the very first sketch
Oh,
that I
wow.
made. This was before I even started on the book. I was like, let me try to draw some, come up with a character first.
Yeah.
So I did that, and as you can see, some of the characters are even directly how they look in the book.
Wow. That
And
is cool.
That's so fun.
and then once I executed the minimal color idea, I was like, this actually works. It's pretty monochrome,
Yeah.
but it still has enough color to be exciting and
Yeah.
fun. So that was
Well,
pretty much the yeah.
Remind you of what, Charlie?
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
yeah.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
I see it. I see it.
Everybody's like, oh.
Yeah, and I like how the colors like pop, like so
Thank you.
so pretty.
We always get so many compliments on it because kids say it looks like an Etch-a-Sketch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
like, Miss Brittany, is that the thing you shake around and all the
Oh.
colors
I'm
come
gonna go get some
everywhere?
power. I'll be right back.
So but a lot of people have said that the book, as soon as they see it, they get a reaction from the cover of it
Yeah.
because of the way that Brooks designed it.
Yeah.
The pages are black. Like when I go and talk to the kids, I'm like, what do you notice about this book?
Yeah.
What's different about this book that other books don't have? And they're like, and they can't figure it out. And then I go, what color are the pages? Because there's a lot of symbolism there, right?
Yeah.
The book talks about emotion, and it talks about how it starts off talking about, when the world is, the first line says, when the world moves fast and my mind can't keep up,
Yeah.
it makes me really wonder if I've had enough.
Wow.
So already your emotions are on a roller coaster,
Yeah.
and the pages are darker and the emotion is heavier.
Mm.
So that's no accident. And Brooks took the words and he literally gave me a visual that was perfect.
Wow.
That's crazy.
You guys. Well, I know you
Thank
guys.
you, Jordan.
I know you guys are related. So how well do you guys work together? You and Miss Brittany.
I stress him out.
But
Brooks, you go first.
well, honestly, yes, she does stress me out a little bit. But that honestly, that has been part of my job as a designer.
Yeah.
It's a very empathetic job. It's a very It's funny. I've actually toyed around with the idea of calling myself a vision translator because that's how it feels.
Mm.
Where it's like
Yeah.
somebody can give me an idea, and I'll just kind of sit with it for a few minutes to a few hours, and just be like, okay, yeah, I know exactly how this can, and it's just based on my experience, my teachings, and how I've learned to be a designer. Uh, but stress. Honestly, stress is kind of part of the job, but
Yeah.
not to say that not to say that in a bad way. I just think it's a matter of you get so good at it that you're just kind of like, okay, I know this isn't going to be easy, but the challenge is kind of what makes it worth it, and it kind of makes it a
Yeah.
little more exciting. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and honestly, it's easier to work with Brittany than it is to work on my own thing sometimes because I really have to kind
Yeah.
of kick myself into gear. But when you have someone else that can hold you accountable, it makes it a little easier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I can add to what Brooke said because I try to make it as easy as possible for him, right?
Yeah.
Like I've been on the other side of the coin. He is so easy to work with because I try to be as prepared as possible and give him exactly what I need.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to think too much about how to be creative unless I say, do your thing, right?
Yeah.
And then he just kind of naturally does his thing. But there are some times where I'm like, Brooks, I needed to be like this, and I needed to do this day, and I needed to be like this. And it's and I think he at the time when I do that, I think I drive him bonkers. But I'm doing it because I already see the final result,
Yeah.
right? And I know that's hard to say, hard to understand, but I can usually see what he sees
Yeah.
or where he is eventually going to end up. It's almost like I have already seen that.
Yeah.
So that's part of the reason why we work together so well because I can just say, Brooks, I got to have this logo with it needs to look similar to this, this, and this with these colors. And I just unleash him and let him do his thing. And then when he returns it back to me, it's like exactly what I wanted. Because some people don't know how to be deliberate with what they're asking for. They're just like, hey, I want a commercial for my car dealership.
Yeah.
And then when you do all the work, they're like, well, I didn't want it like that. Well, how'd you know? You should have told me. Give me an idea of what you want, and then we can tailor it to what you want. And I think that's why we work so well together.
Yeah. And even me and him, we have some different visions, but we still work well together.
Yeah.
And plus,
Y'all work really well together, Mello and Brackett.
and plus, you guys got chemistry, brother and sister.
He does look. He don't always get along with me. I'm hard. I'm difficult.
So, Mr. Brooks, what is your next illustration project?
Next illustration project. Hmm. So I kind of want to. I haven't really revealed this information yet, but I want to start posting regularly on my Instagram again. But I kind of want it to be like a satirical brand where it's like I'm kind of. It's kind of it's a project within a project where
Yeah.
I'm just kind of. It's hard to describe, but I want to start posting regularly, like funnier comics, uh,
Yeah.
brands that aren't necessarily real, but they kind of make you laugh when you see them, and
Yeah.
just kind of turn it into like an ongoing joke, but in a really creative way.
Yeah.
That's kind of something I've been thinking about as of recently, and it's going to be a project that just kind of gets chiseled out one day at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a while. I need to pay my Instagram a little more attention, and I think that's a good way to do it.
And we just get an exclusive.
Yeah. Brooks is going to be the next creator of Dilbert,
Dilbert. Yeah, but
the new creator of Dilbert.
yeah, comics. I mean, honestly, creating books like this too helped me get better at comics, just because I kind of get a better idea of how much work goes into it and how quick I can knock out a good idea. But I think it's more so just a like kind of putting ideas that I've been thinking about for a while, just into either a comic or a graphic of some sort.
Yeah.
So you can learn more about the Outstanding Youth Awards by going to outstandingyouth.awards.net. You can check us out on Instagram. We started a new page, so we don't have much, but we're getting there. So it's outstanding_youth_award. And my personal Instagram is bbactress85, like the letter B, actress85, for all of my fun, crazy, silly videos of what happens on my day job.
Well, you heard it here, everybody. And Miss Brittany, Mr. Brooks, and Charlie Davis. And Miss Brittany, please tell us, with Outstanding Youth Awards Initiative, and where we can buy My Safe Place.
Oh, yeah. So the cool thing about My Safe Place is that all the proceeds are going back into charity. Our nonprofit is receiving every single penny for programming. So you can go to Amazon.com and you can order it. You can just search My Safe Place, or you can search Brooks Brackett or Britney Brackett, and it'll come up.
Yeah.
And we're also available on BarnesandNoble.com. But we're also at a lot of vendor events. So if you reach out to me at the website or email us at outstandingyouth@gmail.com, we'll get you a copy. Or a few.
Well, you heard it here, everybody. Mr. Brooks, Miss Brittany, Charlie Davis. Peace.